So last week we talked a lot about kindness and how simple acts of kindness can be beneficial to the person receiving them and you for doing them. I told you this week was going to be kind of a follow-up. We're going to talk about friendships and being there for the people that matter to you. You're going to learn a little personal story about me. Plus, something happened this week that kind of, fueled this topic, and I can't wait to share it with you. So stay tuned. What's going on, guys? My name is Chris. Welcome back to The Well-Rounded Dude. If you're new here, we talk a lot about different style topics, lifestyle topics, a whole bunch of stuff. But sometimes we talk about a little bit deeper stuff like checking in on your people, mental health, and it is super important that you do. And these are some of my favorite topics to talk about, although admittedly, some of them are difficult to talk about. I'm going to share a story with you in a little bit that's personal for me, and I will have to be vague because it involves other people, and hopefully you'll understand as we go on. But without further ado, let's hop into it. So the whole plan for this week was for me to talk to you about checking in with your loved ones, with your friends, trying to stay engaged and see how they're doing and lend an ear. And there was a topic that I saw on Facebook, which, by the way, if you haven't been following me on social media, what are you doing with your life? You should be following me on Instagram and Facebook. There's a Well-Rounded Dude page on both of those, but I digress. The cast of Boy Meets World has a podcast. If you don't remember, it was a 90s sitcom. It's got a huge cult following. Some people love it a lot. I was always like, it's there, it's okay. But 3 of the cast members have a podcast where it seems to be the trend now with cast members of old shows just take a look at old episodes and comment on them. But the main character, who was played by Ben Savage, a couple of years ago, just cut ties with the rest of them. And they did a whole episode about it, how they don't know what happened. They were all really close. As you can imagine, they were, teenagers, early 20-year-olds that were really tight for, almost 30 years ago. And then all of a sudden, he just cut ties with them, and they don't know what happened. Now, the interesting thing is that they tried to reach out, they tried to keep in touch, but he's just not having any of it. He's just not talking to them, and looking at it, you don't know why, right? So you can't say that it's due to one side. I mean, you're only getting one side of the story here to begin with, but it was perfect for me to talk about this week because I've experienced something like that before, where ghosting is a common thing. I've talked about it on the channel before, and I've always said, and I still stand by this, that ghosting is an immature response. Especially if there's no reason to. If somebody is toxic to you, and again, that's a word that I use hesitantly, but if somebody is really not good for you, like, they lie, they cheat, they steal from you, or put you in bad situations, something very bad like that, that's grounds for ghosting. Like, I understand that. But if you have either a disagreement or something that's not that serious in the grand scheme of things, ghosting is a complete immature response. It is not something that you should be doing. You should be an adult and have a conversation with the person. So what I found the most interesting about the article was how people were responding to what the 3 actors were saying, how they were treating the situation, how they were responding to Ben. Ryder Strong was saying that I believe it was Ryder Strong, I could be wrong, but that he called Ben every day and told him, look, I'm going to call you every day until, we hash this out. And people were saying that that means he doesn't respect boundaries, or whichever one it was, that they didn't respect boundaries, and that he obviously was looking for space and they should just respect it. And I disagree with that. Personally, you know, if somebody falls off like that, especially when you know there was no argument, there was no disagreement, there was no problem, realistically, sometimes, you know, like, okay, maybe this person is just sick of something, right? But if you really don't know, and all of a sudden somebody acts differently, you should try to find out why, okay? Because it may not have anything to do with you. It could be them, and they're hurting and they need a friend. And that's the important thing that I want to get through to you guys today is check in on the people that need you. You know, your people that are important to you. If they're quiet for too long, check in on them, make sure they're okay. I have a little bit of experience with the whole ghosting thing. I talked about it before on the podcast, on the Well-Rounded Dude podcast, the origin of the Well-Rounded Dude. Yeah, I mean, it's basically what led to this channel. I was ghosted by somebody who I thought was a good friend. They turned on me and just decided not to talk to me. There was no argument. There was no problem, and anything that could have been hashed out, you know, they just opted, instead of having a conversation, which is the responsible thing to do, they just decided to be immature and not talk. Now, another reason why this is a topic that's very important to me, and why I think for the people that you care about, you need to press a little bit more if something like that happens, and you need to reach out. My best friend, 14 years ago, he was going through something, just like it didn't seem like it was a serious problem, and by that I mean it's something that everybody goes through. It was an ex-girlfriend. I got to be cautious here because I don't want to hurt anybody else that may be listening to it. It does involve other people, but he was going through some relationship stuff, and you know, he was a little upset, but I thought it was like the normal amount of upset, right? And my plan was, you know, he was acting a little different with me, but my plan was we were going to see each other again real soon, and I was going to talk to him about it. But I didn't get the chance. He took his own life, and, you know, it's something that for the longest time, and even still today, I feel guilty over, because I was trying to give him space. You know, the whole plan was to do the dude thing, you know, eventually be like, you know, hey, what's going on, man? You all right? We need to go find new girls this weekend. We can do that. We can go find new girls or whatever. But I just wanted to give him his space, and it sucks. It's a very shitty feeling, to say the least. You know, there's really, I came to realize that, you know, I was trying to do the right thing. You know, it took us all by surprise. It wasn't, you know, we weren't negligent, but we didn't know. He didn't open up, and you know, I know his family tried talking to him. You know, when we would talk, you know, he just seemed like, yeah, he was upset, but it wasn't a normal, acceptable, rational reasoning for him to be sad. It didn't seem out of the ordinary. And that's why I want to stress to you guys that even though a problem might be small, somebody else's problem might be small to you, it could be the world to them. And it's so important to talk to your friends. Check in on them. If they're struggling, if you think they're struggling or hurting or whatever, talk to them. You know, we kind of look at it as like, oh, we gotta talk and it's touchy-feely and, you know, I can't do that, I'm a guy. Or, you know, even some girls are like, ah, that's a little much. It's not a little much, okay? It's very important, especially if it's for people you care about, okay? You don't want to be in that situation where you find out that somebody you really cared about was so upset that they took their own life, or hurt themselves, or somebody else. It's just not worth the uncomfortableness of like sharing feelings. We have to do that now. You know, life is very stressful for a lot of us. It's hard for everybody. And you're supposed to have your team around you, your good friends, to lend support, you know. A pot of coffee and just talking something over can save a life and can really help somebody. I urge you, be a friend. Talk to your friends, check in on them. All right, guys, so with that, that's going to end our 2-part series on kindness and being there for your friends. I don't really know what else to call this, to be honest. I do promise you next week we'll have a much more happier topic, and, you know, I just felt I had to get this out because I've just seen so much unkindness lately, and just people who don't understand what true friendship is, that I felt I just had to get this out. And don't get me wrong, I've also seen some great examples of kindness that was also the inspiration for these 2 videos that I had to put out there. And I also have to say, like, if you feel that you're struggling, you know, get help. You know, there's professional help that you can get. Talk to somebody. I talk about BetterHelp. They're not affiliated with the channel at all, but you can find a therapist that you can talk to, and somebody that you're gonna, you know, click with. You know, because sometimes it takes a while. You're not just gonna meet the first therapist and click and everything's gonna be, you know, hunky-dory. It's going to take a little bit before you find somebody that you click with. But if you need that kind of help, definitely talk to somebody and check in with your friends. You know, keep everybody in the loop, and make sure everybody's okay. And if you need to talk to them too. It helps. Truly, it does. And with that, guys, like I said, next week will be a much more happy video. But I will see you next time. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the social media things. Help me fight the YouTube algorithm. Ring the bell. Be sure to check out thewellroundeddude.com. The website is really the hub of everything we do here. You can find the 5 most recent episodes of our podcast. You can find the link to our Amazon merch page. You can find you know, links to old videos, I think I said. I don't remember. I'm kind of losing track. Just a lot going on. And, you know, with that, I think it's probably best just to leave it there. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.